Oh, hello, and what are we talking about with Jamie Jakes? I am not him. I am Insider NFL James. You are a longtime listener to this podcast, to the show. You'll know who I am. If you don't know who I am here, and Jamie will be here in spirit to make you guys some money. Yes, folks, how this works, the gambling show, and what are we talking about with Jamie Jakes? We pick an NFL slate. More importantly, I pick an NFL slate. And Jamie and I both have to pick sides on those individual games. Could be a money line, could be a spread, could be a total, could even be a team total. But we go head to head every week. How do we pick a winner? Well, whoever has the most units at the end of the week wins that week. And to the chagrin of Jamie, I pick money lines. And that has helped me come back from a 5-0 deficit to win the regular season. The hammer of truth and justice was unfortunately not delivered to me when I saw Jamie yesterday. So I have the hammer of hammering in art for my wife around the house, which will soon be replaced with the actual regular season title of Hammer of Truth and Justice. On the bad side of news, I did lose our preseason bets. Not officially, but doesn't really help when your coach of the year pick gets fired. So that means that this postseason is very important to Jamie and I. So it's a very exciting time for you guys because we will be giving our best of the best to you to make you guys some more money and find out who will be the playoff champion. I have 6 games today. That's right. I picked every single NFL game on the slate for the playoffs. And you want to know why? It's because our beloved Jamie Jakes has recently had a child and he's very sleep deprived. So the more games that I force him to pick, the better of an advantage I think that I have. I'm excited to get into these picks. I hope you guys are too. And we're going to start it off with the first game of the weekend, the Rams at Panthers. The spread on this one is 10.5 points, and Jamie and I both have a pick against the spread. I'm picking the Panthers at plus 10.5, and Jamie's picking the Panthers at plus 10.5. Why am I picking that? Well, the Rams, are they the best team in the league? Maybe. Hopefully they can find out a way to beat the Seattle Seahawks. But at the end of the day, the main thing to note here is these are 2 professional sports teams. One of those teams is playing at home as an underdog. Quite frankly, if the Panthers can't cover 10.5, somebody needs to get fired, in my opinion. So I'm taking the spread. Jamie's taking the spread. And that, folks, is your first agreement of the day as well. Will it be the lock of the week? If you're not familiar, we do have a lock of the week every single week here on this podcast. And that lock of the week is red hot, winning last week with the Steelers spread or the Steelers money line, depending on which one of us you like more. Hopefully it's me. And that means that the lock of the week is rolling in hot into the playoffs. So when I do reveal our lock of the week at the end of the podcast, don't bet an extra unit on it. Or maybe you do. It's your life, but remember to gamble responsibly and, more importantly, shop your lines. Speaking of playoff games, we've got another one with the Packers at the Bears. Classic rivalry matchup. The biggest thing to note here, right? Packers, on my rankings, they're the 8th best team in the NFL. The Chicago Bears, they're the 13th best team in the NFL. But there's one big gap between these two teams, and it's their defenses. The Bears' defense is abysmal, one of the worst in the leagues. You know what the worst part about their defense is? Their run defense. And what is the one thing that Jamie and I say? I'll pause for him to say it at home. You got to be able to run the ball, and you got to be able to stop the run. And to be a winning team in the playoffs, that becomes even more important. In the frigid cold, that becomes even more important. So I have taken the Packers spread. Did somebody say the spread? Yeah, I said the spread at -1. And Jamie has also taken the Packers spread at -1. A second agreement from him and I. Well, looks like his sleep-deprived brain might be working pretty well. Speaking of shopping your lines, this is the ultimate line shopper game of the week. The line on this one is anything that you want, depending on which book you go to. It's the Bills at the Jags. This team is basically a coin flip, right? I think both of these teams are pretty good. The Jags are the better team by a little bit, but then you got that Buffalo home advantage, which is definitely worth a couple points on the spread. So if you shop your lines, you can find a smorgasbord of opportunities, and Jamie and I have both found most delectable bites at either end of the spectrum. I've taken the Jags at +1.5. Meanwhile, Jamie has taken the Bills at plus 1.5, and he did reference that this is available at Bet Rivers. So if you do want Bills at plus 1, Bet Rivers. You could bet both sides of this if you wanted to. Probably not a good idea, but if you maybe look at some other markets like Kalshi, Poly Market, etc., I would not be shocked if you could get a plus money line on the Bills and a plus money line on another market, and that is what we called guaranteed profit, unless somebody stiffs you. So don't use a bookie in that situation. That is our first disagreement of the week. So that means I will be watching that game extra closely to make sure that I continue to keep beating Jamie as the trends have been recently. Now we're moving on to the mid-game Sunday. It's the 49ers at the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. So these teams are close, but the Eagles come out on top. I've really liked what I've seen out of the 49ers recently, and I have really liked what Mike Shanahan has been cooking up. Kyle Shanahan, maybe the ghost of Mike Shanahan, a.k.a. the guy pulling the strings on Kyle, is the one doing some magic here. Whatever it is, it seems to be working for the 49ers, and I think they have the right momentum coming into this game. I think they have a much more potent offense. I'm still not impressed by Philadelphia's offense. They don't seem to be scoring a lot of points. And because of that, I'm taking the 49ers at plus 185. That is right, a shocking plus money line bet from me, Insider James. Jamie Jakes, on the other hand, what does he have? He's got the 49ers at plus 5.5. So that is a slant agreement between the two of us for that game. Next game, as Jamie would say, it's Sunday night. We've got the Chargers at the Patriots. This is the second biggest discrepancy when it comes to rankings of teams in this playoff. The first, of course, being the Rams at the Panthers. No shock there. These teams have a whole heck of a lot of distance between them. And I'll give you a hint. It's not the team that has a cheating head coach who should have had his title stripped and still cannot coach in the NCAA until 2035. That is Jim Harbaugh's Chargers. And whose brother got fired. Tough life in the Harbaugh house. Well, Jim will be able to go meet him in the Bahamas because these Patriots are probably going to demolish this team. Jamie Jakes thinks so. He's actually taking the Pats at minus 3.5. I have actually gone with the team total. I've gone with the under of 46.5. Why am I going with that? Well, I think the Patriots are going to dominate the time of possession. I don't think the Chargers can score. Their entire offense is basically built around a run game. So both of these teams probably are just going to take up a lot of time of possession. Probably not going to see a lot of points. I don't know by how bad the Pats are going to beat them, but I do know that this game is going to be low scoring. So that is another disagreement for Jamie and I. The last game of the week, Monday night, the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of things to look at in this game, but there's a lot of things that I didn't have confidence in going into this game. Number one, I do not have confidence in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Yikes. Aaron Rodgers is lucky to have pulled out that game in Baltimore. What else am I not very confident in? Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They basically let the Ravens run through them like Taco Bell runs through me on a Sunday morning after a long night of drinking. Another thing that I don't have confidence in, though, it's the Texans offense. They are out many wide receivers. And while they seem to be able to drive the field, they just don't seem to be able to get it done in the red zone very often. So that leaves me with only one phase of the game that I can have some confidence in, and that's the Houston Texans defense. A team that's run by former Alabama linebacker, absolute stud. Of course, this guy's defense is going to be amazing. I'm a little upset that this team got better because I would have loved for him to come be defensive coordinator for us at the University of Alabama. But sometimes things don't work out, and looks like Womack's staying for another year, so that's good for us. All of that being said, I'm taking a team total. I'm taking the Steelers at under 18.5 because I think there is no way in heck that this team can score a touchdown, let alone two. And hopefully C.J. Stroud just doesn't throw a pick six or their punt team doesn't manage to cover. So I'm taking the Steelers team total at under 18.5. Jamie has confidence that the Texans can nail some points, so he's going to have the Texans at -3. So if you are keeping track at home, folks, that's 2 direct agreements, 1 slant agreement, and 3 disagreements between Jamie and I. As a recap, we both have the Panthers at +10.5. We both have Green Bay at -1, and We both agree that the 49ers will win the game or keep the game close. I've got the Niners at plus 185. He's got the Niners at plus 5.5. Jamie has bestowed the opportunity of picking the game of the week, the lock of the week, to myself. I take that with great honor. And that means this week's lock of the week is going to be the Green Bay Packers at -1. Hope everybody at home has a fantastic weekend. Remember, shop your lines, keep track of your units, and most importantly, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on this video. Thanks, everybody.